guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are in a different setting due to the lovely coronavirus, but that's okay. I am currently in Mexico. This is where I have been spending most of my quarantine. I've been here for the past month now, and yes, it has been very difficult to be over here doing work and stuff like that, especially with all the things going on over here as well. But you know, we're just trying to make it work, and it's going there. I'm on the last week of college online classes, if you would say that, because next week I have finals, but that's what's going on right now. But you know, I have recently been thinking about it, and you know, it's coming to the end of my first college year, my freshman year, and I was looking back to, you know, through memories, and you know, you go through those memories of trying to decide what college you're going to, and I remember how confused I was around this time. So I decided that I was going to go on Instagram and ask you guys to ask me questions that you guys had about college, about campus life, about PBA, or anything that you really wanted to ask, because I know that I would have loved to be able to have somebody that I could have gone to ask that would have been in my position, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? I'm just trying to help you, and you help me by giving me something to do in this quarantine, because my homework's not gonna get done, and we're just gonna stop trying about it. But yeah, so I wanted to chat with you guys and give you your feedback, because one of the things that I've been trying to push in my channel is to be extremely transparent about college experience, and not just the college experience, but college experience at my university. Because when I was trying to choose a university, I would look at videos. I wanted to know more about my college campus, and I found videos, but not as much as you would have for any other university, which is obvious because I go to a small university. But I want to be transparent. I want to provide that information for people who are doing the same thing as me that I was doing last year, looking up videos and stuff like that. So I really want to be 100% transparent about everything. So we're just gonna go ahead and start answering those questions. Okay, so I will be putting the questions up here just so you can see them, but I do want to say, and reiterate that I'm trying to be as transparent as possible and give you exactly my opinion, but also take in mind, this is from my experience, what I've seen, my beliefs. It can totally be going different for other people, so just take that in mind, and because I don't want everybody to think that this happens to everybody, or anything that I'm saying is what everybody thinks. Like, it can go all different ways. We're all different. This is just my experience. One of the first questions that was asked was, how many Latino students do you think there are in PBA from 1 to 10? From now being on campus, I can tell you that out of a 1 to 10, I would say a 5. Because when you get there, at least for me and from several people that I've talked to, it's a huge culture shock. I was so used to being in this little community where I knew everybody, and I was around the same people, the same backgrounds and stuff like that all the time. So when I got there, it was definitely the biggest culture shock that I've ever received, and it hit me hard. The first 2 weeks were really hard for me. I felt out of place. I felt like a misfit. I felt like I would never fit in. It was just very difficult for me, and I didn't want to go anymore. I literally shut down for a bit, and I just like, I don't want to go here, I don't want to go here, I don't want to go here. But there is a Latino community, and you just sometimes need to look for it a little bit more than expecting it to come to you. But you know, there is a good few of us on campus, and I felt like we're very supportive of each other. It's actually very cool when you get on campus and you finally start seeing that there is a community on there, because at first sight you're like, yeah, no, there's none of us here, but there is. And honestly, that's one of the first things that scared me the first few weeks, like I said. But there is a good few of us. Obviously, we're not predominant on the school, but from a 1 to 5, a 1 to 10, I would say a 5. Next question is it really as hard as they make it seem? Okay, so literally all through college, I got preached that college is hard, college is not gonna let you do this, college is not gonna let you do that, and they honestly kind of scare you. But I have to say, college is not as hard as they make it seem. It's only as hard as you make it for yourself. So yes, the classes are challenging, but you have to realize that these college classes are up to what you've been taught in high school, and they advance from what you've been learning. So it's not like they introduce you to this new like thing that you've never seen in your entire life before. However, your work ethic and the way you manage your homework and your social life and everything else is what's gonna make it your experience hard. So yes, they do leave a lot of work, but you also have a lot of free time. And that's probably one of the biggest issues that I had, was trying to manage my free time, because I had all this homework, but I also had all this free time, and I just didn't know how to put it together or how to balance it out. So it's really just as hard as you make it. If you make time for your homework, you'll get your homework done. And yeah, it'll be challenging classes, which you want your classes to be challenged, because if you're not challenged, then you have no incentive to grow, if that makes sense. So you just need to manage your work. And it's crazy because you can be stressed because you have a lot of work. Doesn't mean it's hard. If you get behind on a subject, you should contact your professors, but you can be so stressed but at the same time so happy because you're with your friends. And I can't describe that. Like, it doesn't make sense when I say it, but when you're living it, you realize that yeah, it's stressful, but you just have your friends around and you guys are having a good time, but you're still stressed. So that makes sense. I don't know, it's a very weird thing, but it's real and it happens. But like I said, it's only as hard as you make it for yourself. If you're on top of your things, then yes, it's going to be challenging, but it's possible. It's not impossible, it's possible. And so it's not as hard. I think just they try to scare us a lot about college, and it's just, and also if you choose a major that you really like, the classes will be intriguing. Like, you're studying for something that you want in life, so the classes are challenging, but you should be involved in them. You should be kind of interested in your work. It's not like they're forcing you to take these classes. Like, yeah, you're gen eds, yeah, you kind of have to take them. But once you get into your major more, you're taking classes that you supposedly should be wanting to take. So it's not like you're bored, but you're learning about your own major. So I don't know if I'm putting this into like correct words, but like I said, it's just time managing, to be honest. That's the hard part. Trying to manage how much work you have between your free time, which is the hard part. The next one is, how do you be so funk fresh all the time? Like, that's my only question. I don't be funkin' fresh all the time. Listen, sometimes, okay, I never really had early classes this whole year because I knew that I would struggle with that. I sometimes be running out the door, like trying to put on my earrings and half of my stuff still, because the mornings are a little difficult for me and I don't be looking funkin' fresh. I be running out of the door, and sometimes my hair is sticking in all over the places, and yeah, the mornings are probably not the best. And this next year I'm taking all 8 a.m. so I'm gonna be doing great. I'm gonna be thriving. Next question is it actually worth going? From my perspective, yes. Even if college isn't for everybody, because everybody is different, and I would say college is worth going if it's just to figure out if college is what you want to do, if it's to better yourself, it's worth going. I would say it's 100% worth going, especially being a first generation child. I think your parents come over here and they just are doing everything for you to really get that education. And if you have the opportunity, you should definitely try it out. It might turn out that it's not for you, and that's totally okay, but at least you gave it a go. You had a whole different experiences, and it's great. For me, I moved out of state, and I felt like that was the biggest eye-opening thing for me, because I was so used to being so comfortable in this community, and I was like opened up to this whole different culture almost. And so it was very worth it, and I've met a whole lot of people. I've gotten to travel. I've really appreciated the importance of education, and it's just, I've made lifelong experiences. So I think it's 100% worth going. Like I said, you might find out that it's not for you, and that's totally okay. The next question is, do you actually like PBA? Yes, I really do like PBA. I think it's pretty much like the best place that I could have chosen for myself. I don't see myself anywhere else. So the next question, are you going to do your 4 years in college, in the college you're in right now? Yes, that is a plan. Unless like I get this cool opportunity to go to some other college that has my major and like is giving me a full ride, then things might change. But I do want to continue my 4 years at PBA, and I do want to go to graduate school. I don't know where, but hopefully it ends up happening and I like moving a lot, so if it happens to be somewhere outside of Florida or Texas, I'll be completely fine with that. Next question is, do you wish you would have gone to college somewhere else? Like I said, the first semester was a little bit rough for me, and that first month, yes, I was regarding everything that I had chosen to do, and I completely wanted to go somewhere else. I was like, even if it's somewhere in Florida, or somewhere else in Florida, somewhere else in Texas, I will do it. But then I was like, you know what, you're giving up a little bit too soon, so I was comfortable, and I was like, you need to give it a try, and so I really did give it a try, and I completely love it. The next question is PBA fun? Yes, it is. I think it's really the attitude you take towards things. We're a very small university, and so sometimes it can be very easy to become negative about things or pick at the rules. But to be honest, I've had a great time. If you've watched my semester recap, which you should, those are like real moments, real experiences, and I had fun. There was moments where I was like, but like for the most part, it is what you make out of it. So if you have a positive attitude, then yes. And to be honest, you meet so many people, you have so many opportunities. Are your parents okay with you being out of state? So being a child from Mexican parents, that was probably the biggest struggle. My mom always told me that she would support me and everything, and she always told me that if I wanted to go to out of state, then that was fine. But when it came to like me actually making that decision, she wasn't about it, and so my dad wasn't either. It took a lot of convincing, and I had to really take my mom to go visit the college for her to see that I was going to a good college and that it was safe and that the school was really going to be good for me. And obviously she's still sad that I'm out of state and I'm so far away, but I feel like she's fine now. I haven't asked her, but you know, I think she's good. Does an SAT score really matter? It matters for you to get into college, but after that, it really is the grades you make in your classes that matter. The next question is, how do you find scholarships? To be honest, scholarship finding is really hard, because not hard in the sense that you can't find scholarships. It's hard applying for them because it's not just like a 5-minute thing. You have to dedicate your time to applying to these scholarships and making essays. And my guidance counselor in high school told me that it's really like a job. You have to spend day and night applying for these scholarships and looking for them, because they're not just going to come to you. You have to look for them. So that's what you need to do. You need to like totally invest your time into applying for them and looking for them and seeing all the opportunities you have. And just doing all that. And you know, colleges do offer you scholarships on their own, so never think that you can't go to college because you don't have money, because there's money out there and they will gladly give it to you. How many times do you have sleep for dinner? Way too many times. I actually have this thing where I nap, and instead of it being an hour nap or 2-hour naps, it turns into being like a 4 or 5 or 6-hour nap, and I don't wake up till the next day sometimes. So a lot of times I've had sleep for dinner. A lot of times also I don't go out of my room just because I'm in one of those moods and I decide to never go out. So I've had sleep for dinner way too many times. The next question is, how did you end up choosing your college? Okay, I'm gonna be completely honest. When senior year started, I applied to a few colleges in Texas, and I thought, I'm probably not gonna get accepted into any of these colleges. I know I thought really low of myself, but I didn't think that I would get accepted into colleges. But I randomly applied to Florida once, and PBA was the first one to call me back. And when they called me back, they told me that I also received a really good scholarship. And so I started looking into it a lot more, and it became one of my top 3 choices. And so just looking into my experiences of being in a small private university for 11 years and being so used to small numbers of students in classes, I realized that PBA was probably the same thing. It was a small university, the student ratio was great, it was Christian based, it was in Florida, and it just encompassed everything that I would want in a college, and I didn't want to be just another number. That's what led me to researching more about the school, and then just totally getting invested into the idea of going there. And when I visited, I completely fell in love with the campus and decided that that's where I wanted to spend the rest of my 4 years. The next question is, would you want to go to UH? This one's a tough one because a lot of my friends do go to UH, and I visited and it looks like a lot of fun. But deep down inside, I know that I would never want to go to UH. And I'm really sorry, go Cougs and everything, but you just won't see me there, like attending, no. The next question is, when did you start applying to colleges? I started applying to colleges in October of my senior year. I would have started earlier, but I didn't take my SAT till August of my senior year because the summer I was just not in the country, so I couldn't take it. And I took it in August and I got my results in October, and that's when I started applying to colleges. And I applied from October to I believe the end of November or beginning of December. That's when I applied to colleges. And junior and sophomore year, I had put my email into a lot of college websites for them to send me information. And somehow, also I think for the PSAT, my email went around and a lot of colleges would send me letters. And if you don't realize that some of those colleges actually have a voucher for you to apply for free, like they cover the cost of your application. So I just applied to a lot of random colleges when I had a voucher, and Florida came up, Mississippi came up, and then I applied to a few in Texas. So yeah, that's what I did. Is it true you cry every day until you met people named Bree, Kai, and Jordan? Yes, I did cry every night until I met you guys. Those are my great friends. Until I met them first semester, then my life completely changed, and then they left second semester. We're just gonna leave it at that. How do you maintain focus but also enjoy the college life, as in partying, etc.? Okay, so I go to a really small college, and partying is not highlighted as much, if that makes sense. But we do have a lot of activities and their stuff. So I think the fact that I go to such a small university helps me maintain order in my life, if that makes sense. And they keep me on track. So for the first semester, I had a curfew, which whenever I told all my other friends who went to public universities, they're like, "You have curfew?" And yeah, it kind of sucked, but it kind of maintained me on track, if that makes sense. So honestly, you just have to propose yourself. You have to like really set yourself and be like, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. Because if you don't, your life will just become chaos, and then you won't have any order to your life. But you have to como proponértelo. Like if you want to do this, you have to propose yourself to actually do it and hold yourself accountable. I would say telling your friends that you're gonna do something at one time and doing it at another time holds you accountable, because they'll be like, oh, well, you said you're gonna do this at this hour. So it holds you accountable. Finding friends to go do work at a certain time holds you accountable, because if you guys set on a time, you really have to go. So I would say that maintaining order in my life by doing my work and setting my free time is still something that I'm working on, but you really, like I said, have to be determined to do it. And that's the best way that I would say I would describe this to you, because like I said, I still have to figure out this, like I'm still working on it. So yeah. How hard was the transition from Texas to Florida? I don't think the transition was hard. I think it was scary. It was scary to know that I was going to move so far and I wasn't gonna have anybody, and I feared that I would be uncomfortable and want to move back, and then my mom was gonna be like, "What's the seed?" And so that was scary in a sense. It wasn't really hard for me. I think the hardest part was trying to also get accustomed to the city and know where everything was. So I would say those were the hard things, but at least for me, it wasn't too hard because I'm also very independent. So I missed my family, but I knew I had a purpose on campus, and I knew that I had to really keep going. Like I said, those first 2 weeks were really hard for me, but I really just pushed through, and I realized that I like living by myself in general. So yeah, and I'm also very independent, and yes, I miss my family, but I know that life has to continue separated from them because I won't always be living at home. So it was scary in that sense. It was just scary, and I think that whenever you're put in these new situations or new places, you just have to really remember what your purpose is for being there and what will be the outcome. So, and I got 2 questions of that. I got the hardest transition when moving states for school. Yeah, like I said, just being in such a new place can be scary, and the biggest transition, the hardest thing about my transition was that culture shock and that I had no one there. And so that can be unfamiliarizing. Is that how you say it? I'm not an education major, so I don't know how to spell. But how's the dining hall food at PBA? Girl, I'll be real honest with you. It's not the best. It serves its purpose, and you know, it would just I have a hate-love relationship with the calf, and it's good, but sometimes, you know, it can be better. I'm not gonna complain because at least we get food, you know. But I will say that this year or this summer, the campus is doing a lot to rebuild our dining hall, and they have said to better the food. So we'll see how that goes. You and me both are gonna experience that because I don't know what to tell you. We really complained about it this year. So next question is, do you like living in a dorm? Okay, I'm gonna explain this to you in the best way possible without it being offensive. I love living in a dorm because I love having my own space. I wish that I would have chosen a different dorm at PBA just for my personal liking, because I like my space, right? And when I chose my dorm in PBA, I chose it because it was the biggest room. Well, I soon realized that I didn't like living, eating, studying, and just living in the same space, the same, you know, like area. And I realized that I really liked the, what's it called? Like escapes. Like Johnson, for example, if you go to PBA, has a living or common space area, and then there's a room. So I would just choose a different dorm, if that makes sense. I like dorm living. I like having a roommate, and next year I'm really excited to have a new roommate, which is actually my best friend. So I'm excited for that. And yeah, I do like dorm living. I think it's a great experience. It teaches you a lot. It teaches you responsibility. It teaches you to be aware of your space and your surroundings and what to have and what not to have and what's unnecessary and what's necessary. I had a great roommate this year, so I have no complaints, but it just teaches you a lot. So I appreciate it. I liked it. Obviously, it's not everybody's cup of tea, but you know, I liked it. The next question is, do you want to study abroad? Yes, I really do. I really do want to study abroad. This year, I got the opportunity to go on a mission trip, which obviously is not studying abroad, but it made me realize that I would love to go somewhere and just really enjoy the culture as well as study. So hopefully in the future, that'll be a possibility. Maybe my junior year, maybe my senior year, who knows? Next question is, what advice would you give to incoming freshmen? I would say just be very open-minded and be willing to try out new things, because sometimes you might close yourself up to opportunities and then realize that you could have like really enjoyed that thing and then you don't. For example, my first week, I know I've repeated this like several times, but I was just very unhappy with my situation, and I realized that I wasn't being open to making friends, so I wasn't making any, and that's why I felt so left out, or that's why I felt so lonely. I felt like out of place. I was making an effort. So you really have to make an effort, and like I said, be open. You might have been really tight with your community back at home, but this is a new place. Everybody's new, everybody's equal, and you just have to be willing to make friends, willing to understand other people. I think the other advice that I would give is to really learn some managing skills, time management skills. It can get really crazy at times, and if you don't develop good time managing skills, it'll just go downhill. Trust me, I can tell you, don't procrastinate as much. I know people say this all the time, but it does help when you don't procrastinate. Try doing your homework before the weekend, so that the weekend you can have it to, you know, take a trip, go out with friends and stuff like that. What is your favorite thing about PBA? I've met such great people at PBA. I've made some of my closest friends at PBA. I've just developed such a good relationship with them, to the point where I'm like, wow, if I would have never met these people, I really think that my life would be kind of dull. So I've made my great friends from there, and like I said, if you see some of my videos, you'll see them. I am really close to them. So I think that's my favorite part about it. And plus, it's also the location, because you can go to the beach in between classes, and I mean, I don't mean to flex, but like, I can go to the beach. So that's all the questions that I have. So I would just say, you know, college can be a scary thing, but just know that you're not alone in this. Trust me, we all go through that. I was really scared. If you have the opportunity to go to college, take it. If you have the opportunity to go to out-of-state college, take it. I hope that I've answered a couple of your concerns, a couple of your questions, and that I've been helpful. If you have any more questions, don't be afraid to DM me or leave a comment down below. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you continue to watch my videos and see how the rest of my college experience goes, because I'm only 1 year in, so I got 3 more, and who knows what will happen in those 3 years. Ring by spring? Probably not. Thank you for watching, guys, and I hope you've enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!